In this video I'm going to demonstrate how to use my scalar tool for LEGO builders. I'm using AI-generated voiceover because there will be a lot going on the screen, and I think that subtitles would get in the way. I hope you can bear with it. In short, the goal of this tool is to let you calculate what dimensions your LEGO model should have based on a blueprint image. The tool is freely available at this address and works on any modern browser, but because you need to be precise with where you click using it, I recommend using it on a computer rather than on a mobile device. I'm going to briefly walk you through the basics and then demonstrate some extra options, including a new functionality which I've just added. So let's get to it. Let's say that I want to build a LEGO model of the Lamborghini Aventador and I want to know what dimensions my model should have to maintain proportions of the real car. So let's hit Google and search for a blueprint for this car. We want the blueprint to be as clean as possible, as large as possible, and ideally to show the vehicle from at least 3 different sides. Once I have found the image that suits me, I right-click it and choose the Copy Image Link option. Now it's time to hit my scalar tool at scalar.sariel.pl. First, let's visit the box titled Step 1 and paste the link we've just copied into that field here. Then, hit the Load button. If you copied the right link, the image should load below. You can now use these buttons to adjust the size of the image if needed. Next, let's look at the box titled Step 2. Unless you already know what scale your model should be built in, you'll need some point of reference to determine how much smaller the LEGO car needs to be than the real one. In my experience, for cars this is best done using wheels, because if you know what LEGO wheels you'll be using for your model, then the size of these wheels compared to the size of the real wheels determines the scale of the whole car. So let's say that I want to use LEGO wheels with a diameter of 10 studs for my model. What I do now is I press and hold and pull with my mouse to draw a horizontal line across the wheel on the blueprint. I release the mouse button when the line is finished and I type 10 studs in that field here because that's the size of my LEGO wheel. The width or height option chooses whether you want to use a horizontal or vertical line, and I'm fine with a horizontal line, so let's stick with the width option. Now, we click the most important button, the one right here, and from that moment on every dimension of every line we draw on the image is shown in LEGO studs calculated to the size of that wheel. That's why the horizontal line across the wheel shows number 10 now, because the diameter is 10 studs. So if I want for instance to know the spacing between the front and rear wheels now, all I have to do is draw a line between them and the length of that line will be calculated automatically. Here, it's 30.6 studs. Note that every time you draw, you actually draw 2 lines, a horizontal and vertical one. This is so you can measure 2 things at once and you can use it to measure all sorts of stuff. For instance, the width and length of the roof, the length and width of the engine cover, the gap between the headlights and their distance from the windshield, and so on. Once you have all the measurements you want, you can save the result using a screenshot. One of the easiest ways is to simply press your print screen key and then go to pasteboard.co and simply paste it. Another solution is to use one of the many browser extensions that can take screenshots of websites. Okay, but what about the angles? What if I want to measure the angle and length of the windshield and I can't do that with just horizontal and vertical lines? Well, this is where a feature I have just added comes in. It's called a protractor tool. You use it by first checking the Activate checkbox here, which disables drawing standard lines. Instead, you now need to click 2 points at the image. Let's click 1 point at the bottom of the windshield and 1 at its top. What happens now is that the protractor shows the distance and angles between these 2 points. You can see that the windshield is 13.61 studs long and it's inclined at 18.43 degrees to the horizontal line and 71.57 degrees to the vertical line. You can also reset any or both of these points and click new ones to measure something else. Just remember to uncheck the Activate checkbox when you want to resume drawing lines. This covers the basics, so let me just quickly mention a few extra options. First, you can find what scale your model is going to be in exactly if you just know the real size of the part of the vehicle you have used for reference. In my case, I have used the diameter of Aventador's front wheel for reference. These wheels come with 20-inch tires, so I put 20 inches here and the result is that for 10 studs big LEGO wheels, the scale of my model is going to be 1 to 6.3 or 6.3 times smaller than the real car. Additionally, you can change the unit of measure and its accuracy, So instead of studs I can see all the measurements in, let us say, inches with accuracy down to 1/100th. If the blueprint you are using has colors that make the lines and numbers hard to read, you can choose from a number of different colors. And finally, you can clear the last measurement you made on the image, or clear all measurements to start anew. I hope that my little tool helps with your LEGO projects. Remember that it's free to use, it contains no ads, and it's always available. In fact, the first version was online since 2010. And don't forget that it's just one of the several tools I've made for you, as well as several free Android apps. Happy building!